So I just spoke to the group that's behind me. They say they are a family of 16. They arrived in Tijuana about 4 days ago. They're traveling from Honduras. I spoke to a couple of people from the group. I also spoke to a 7-year-old boy. I asked him, what are your hopes? And he said to go to the United States. I asked him why. He says he wants to go to school, he wants to be a soccer player, and he wants to work. Now, I asked the adults in this group how long they plan on staying here, and they told me until the U.S. border is opened. I asked them, what if that never happens? And they said, then we are never leaving. They say that they are being fed approximately 1 time a day. They say the people of Tijuana have given them money, and that is how they've been able to gather the food that they need. Other times they tell me they go hungry, waiting until that next meal. And the sun is up in Tijuana, and the migrants spent the night in rain. You can see a heavy presence behind me here outside of the Benito Juarez Sports Complex. The migrants were able to make makeshift shelters with whatever plastic scraps they could find. They tell me that this is worth it and that they are going to stay here until they can present themselves at the port of entry to seek either asylum or a humanitarian visa. I asked him how they were able to stay warm over the night. They said it's cold. They are looking for food. They are looking for anything that they can. They have been buying coffee at nearby shops. They say they are going to be here. They are hoping to move into a complex that has a roof so they don't get wet as this storm continues to pass through. Reporting in Tijuana, Laura Acevedo, 10 News. This is what it looks like inside the Benito Juarez Sports Complex. We've been in here for about an hour. It rained earlier and it is going to rain again. You can see the muddy conditions on the ground. The tents go for as far as you can see. I want to show you what the migrants are using to go to the restroom. These are the porta-johns that they have set up, but you can see just to get to them, there is a large puddle of water. There are also showers available for the migrants, and people have been showering here, also flooded. Now, I've talked to several people asking them if this is all worth it, if bringing their children to this area is worth it. They tell me these conditions are much better than what they have at home. There are tents everywhere. This is out in the open, and they are hoping that second shelter with a roof will open soon. People here are doing everything they can to stay dry. Here they have made makeshift shelters with whatever they can. Here you have a sweater, a plastic bag, a blanket, and any other material they can find. And you can see this surgical mask here on the ground. A lot of the migrants are wearing those now. They say that a lot of them have common colds, and they are worried because they are seeing others not covering their mouths when they cough or not watching where they spit. So they are concerned that the colds are going to spread and they will continue to get sick. Reporting in Tijuana, Laura Acevedo, 10 News. And this is what it looks like after a day's worth of rainfall. Many of their tents are flooded, some choosing to pack up their belongings and look for another shelter. Tears of frustration, despair, loss. After an entire day of rain left the Benito Juarez Sports Complex under inches of water. Sonia is from Honduras, traveling for 2 months with her son and grandson. They were forced to leave the shelter after black waters invaded their space. This man wouldn't leave his tent to speak to us because of the rain, saying he's just waiting for President Trump to let him into the country. What was once a baseball field is now a muddy mess, full of trash, overflowing bathrooms, and soaked sleeping pads, clothing, and makeshift tents. Over 6,000 people living on the ground.
Ninguna ciudad del mundo está preparada.
As the city rushes to deal with a storm they say they weren't prepared for. Outside the shelter, several organizations are out here feeding the migrants, but they say that sometimes it can take hours before they get their plate of food. Reporting in Tijuana, Laura Acevedo, 10 News. Desperation is settling in after days of waiting with hopes of making it into the United States. Roughly a dozen migrants decided to ride out the storm with a hunger strike, only to be stopped just blocks from their starting point by the Mexican federal police before they ever made it to the border for their demonstration. The storm pushing out dozens of migrants from the Benito Juarez shelter. Children seen running through puddles as their parents tried to clean up the mess. But not everyone wants to go to the U.S. A number of migrants are applying for asylum in Mexico.
Here in Tijuana, since last week, more than 200 people they have already asked asylum in Tijuana.
President Trump insists no one will enter the country without verified asylum claims. The migrants say they are here to stay. Reporting in Tijuana, Laura Acevedo, 10 News.